We shall move to questions without notice. Are there any questions? Give the call to the Honourable the Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Climate Change and Energy. And firstly, welcome back to Australia. The Coalition...
Order, members on my left.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The Coalition thanks the full-time President of COP31 negotiations for taking the time today to make himself available and accountable to the Australian Parliament in his capacity as part-time Energy Minister. How many...
Order. The Leader of the Opposition will pause. The Leader of the House on a point of order.
Mr Speaker, standing orders are clear on references to members. Page 514 of practice makes it clear, and the reference that was just given is not referring to someone by their titles. Out of order.
The Minister, order. Members on my left. Yep, the Leader of the House. Order. The Manager of Opposition Business on the point of order.
On the point of order, the Leader did refer to the Minister by his title, correct title, and she is allowed to describe the Minister in any way she likes. And it wasn't part of his title. Yeah. And indeed he is the President as well, so President of COP is correct.
No, we're just going to...
Well, you made him the President of
Order,
COP.
resume your seat. Thank you, Manager, for your assistance. I thank the Leader of the House. We're just going to deal with this. People need to be called by their correct titles to assist the House and let's to move forward. If the Leader of the Opposition could move to her question and we don't have the commentary when we're asking questions, that would help everyone, and particularly addressing everyone by their correct titles. We don't need any other descriptors. Otherwise, we're going to get into dangerous territory. So let's just get on with the question and move forward and let that be a lesson to everyone. We're just going to ask questions to the Minister without descriptors. The Leader can continue with her question.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question...
No, just ask the question. We don't need the early...
The Prime Minister's interrupting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question in continuation, how many...
Order. Order. If everyone... The Prime Minister can cease rejecting the member for Hume. Look, we haven't got through the first question, and I'm keen to hear the question, as I'm sure the Minister is. Let's just get to the question.
In continuation, thank you, Mr Speaker. How many days of Parliament will the part-time Minister miss in 2026, and what will be the cost to Australian taxpayers of the Minister's full-time presidential duties?
The Minister for Climate Change and Energy has the call.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker, and I appreciate very much the question from the Leader of the Opposition. Now, Mr Speaker, when you are a patriotic party of government, you celebrate national successes whether you are in opposition or in government. That's the approach the Labor Party in opposition took when John Howard chaired APEC with our support.
Order. Members
it's
on my
the approach
left.
the Labor Party took when Tony Abbott chaired the G20 with our support. It's the approach the Labor Party took to support the appointment of Matthias Cormann as Secretary-General of the OECD. I'm even old enough to remember, Mr Speaker, the Labor Party in government supporting the appointment of Malcolm Fraser as Secretary-General of the Commonwealth, Mr Speaker. I'm even old enough to remember that. Because if you are a serious party of government, you want your country to do well whether you're in opposition or in government. And I'm pleased that this government's achievements have been recognised with the appointment of COP negotiations President, Mr Speaker. I am pleased about that. And the fact that it tells you a lot about the modern Liberal Party, Mr Speaker. In a domestic debate they say, well, look, we shouldn't take any action on climate change because we're just 1% of emissions. And when you say, well, maybe Australia can play an international role to help the rest of the world decarbonise, oh, that's a terrible thing too. We couldn't possibly have that. Now, this is a testament to Australia. It's a testament to my team. I want to thank the Assistant Minister, the member for Fremantle, who represented Australia at the first week of COP very well. I want to thank my special envoy, Kate Thwaites, the member for Ejected, who represented me at the G20, and they will both continue to represent me at other international meetings as well.
Order. The member for Lindsay, has the minister concluded his answer? No. the Leader of the Opposition on her point of order. Can I just ask everyone to assist the House? I will have to take action if this kind of behaviour. You know what's so funny? If this behaviour continues, I think I want to be crystal clear to everyone. I'll have to take action. It's not sustainable for this kind of. If you'd stopped interjecting, I can give the call to your leader. You're not being rude to me. Order. The Leader of the Opposition is entitled to raise a point of order, but I would like her to do it respectfully and for everyone to listen to her point of order.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The point of order is on relevance, and I appreciate the Minister's description of his various globetrotting duties. But the question was tight. How many days of Parliament will the Minister, the part-time Minister, miss next year? And what will be the cost to Australian taxpayers of his full-time presidential duties?
Minister for Social Services. The member for Hume is really pushing the limits today. Trying to be reasonable with everyone, but you're making it exceptionally hard with your behaviour. I'll ask the Minister to continue and to be directly relevant to his question.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The Leader of the Opposition asked me about ministerial travel and criticised me going to Brazil last week, and travelling back yesterday, Mr Speaker, pretty clearly. Apparently international trips aren't appropriate, Mr Speaker. Well, this is a recent development because on the 11th of July 2021, the Minister for the Environment announced that she would be travelling overseas as part of the Morrison government's campaign to stand up for Australia's interests and support the Great Barrier Reef communities and tourism operators ahead of the UNESCO World Heritage Committee meeting. The press release says Minister Lee will visit a number of countries. The press release does not tell us how many countries she visited. We had to read The Australian 2 weeks later to find out Australia's Minister for the Environment, Susan Lee, travelled to more than a dozen countries in recent weeks to secure support. That's what you call a cop-out, Mr Speaker.
Order. When the House comes to order, give the call to the honourable member for Wannon.
Thanks, Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Climate Change. The Lowy Institute reports that as President of COP, Alok Sharma visited more than 50 countries, and media reports he travelled 200,000 miles, which is the equivalent of 8 trips around the Earth. As President of COP31 negotiations, how many countries will the Minister be required to visit? How many miles will he need to travel? And how much taxpayer money will be spent in funding the full-time presidential duties of the part-time Minister?
Order. I'm just going to remind members I'm not happy with descriptors of any sort. Just moving forward. Equally so, it will apply to anyone on this side of the chamber as well. So I'm not happy with that descriptor. So just want to make sure that, and it will go both ways if anyone is described in another way. So just stick to the name of the title, and I'll refer to members on page 514 of practice if anyone needs clarification. Give the call to the Minister for Climate Change and Energy.
Well, thank you very much, Mr Speaker, and I thank the honourable gentleman for his question. But firstly, I must correct a misperception that both the Leader of the Opposition and the Shadow Minister are perpetuating their questions. The role of COP President is not a full-time position. It is quite common for the role of President of the COP, and I'll be the President of the negotiations, to, well, they're different jobs, to be held by a Cabinet Minister concurrent with their duties. Last year's COP President was Mukhtar Babiev, who was the Minister for the Environment of Azerbaijan. The President of the first COP I went to was Minister Shukri, who continued in his role in the Egyptian cabinet while being President of the COP. So to suggest that this is a full-time job somehow is a complete and utter invention. It's a fantasy. You can say it as many times as you like. It doesn't make it true, Mr Speaker. Now,
Order. The Leader of the Nationals.
The Leader of the Opposition was asked this morning by Kieran Gilbert, isn't it good that Australians have a seat at the table and can chair some of the important international talks? And the Leader of the Opposition replied, no, it's not, Kieran. No, it's not. Well, OK, that's not good. But Kieran Gilbert, he's not the first time he's interviewed a member of the Coalition front bench about COP, because he interviewed the gentleman who asked me the question in 2021. And on that occasion, the now Shadow Minister said, as a previous diplomat who went to COP in Buenos Aires, I can tell you that Australia plays a leading role in seeking agreement and getting all countries to play their part in reducing emissions, and we'll continue to play that role, so I've got no problems whatsoever engaging, said my Shadow Minister when he was defending COPs, Mr Speaker.
Members on my right, the member
my
for
predecessor
McNamara.
as Minister for Energy also attended COPs, and the member for Hume gave a speech. Was the speech in Canberra or Sydney or Goulburn? No, it's in London. And he said, importantly, we recognise we cannot achieve all this alone, and that international collaboration.
Order. The member for Cooper is warned. When the House comes to order, I'll hear from the honourable member for Warner, who's entitled to raise his point of order.
Thanks, Speaker, and it goes to relevance. We don't need a history lesson. What we want to know is how much the taxpayer is going to pay from this President and part-time minister travelling the world.
The member for Wannon, I was explicit in not using descriptors, and you agreed with me when I said that. So you will leave the chamber under 94A. I don't know how clearer I can be. Don't do something because it is not in with the standing orders, and I referred to practice, so everyone would know. So I'm not sure why you're surprised. Correct titles for everyone. No descriptors, no deviations. The minister was asked a specific question about details. He's not able to refer to the opposition for the remainder of his question because he wasn't asked about the opposition. So I'm going to ask him to be directly relevant to the question he was asked.
Well, Mr Speaker, the fact is that every trip I take will be in the national interest, representing our country, something I'm proud to do, something this government is proud of with our foreign affairs reset, which has replaced the mess we inherited under this Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister. It is unimaginable that those opposite would have been elected to such a position because you actually have to believe in climate change to be President of the climate change negotiation.